Hi, this is Diana, your favorite Astro-Nerd, and I am here in another star cluster video. I love star clusters, but this one in particular is a very special one as it is a star cluster that is extremely far. It's around 300,000 light years away from the sun and not too much further from the Earth. So this is to me like a dream come true, as I never thought that I was going to be able to photograph a sky object that is this far, and hopefully I can do much more. And I'm just using my Skywatcher Quattro 10. Fortunately, I was able to do 2 sessions, 2 nights with it, photographing this beautiful star cluster that you almost don't see it. It's going to be a little bit challenging. The editing is I'm not going to be able to get those really sharp stars and the cluster itself. And also another challenging part of this star cluster is that it's right next to 3 big stars that are just screaming there, so bright. So the editing is going to be a little bit challenging, but I think in the end I can make it look as good as possible using all the new techniques and scripts and some old techniques too, as you're going to see on the second part of the video. Finally, I got some clear skies. So tonight I am going to finish a beautiful target that it's one of those that I found by coincidence, or maybe making some mistakes trying to find another target. So right now I have my telescope ready, pointing at Capella. In Capella is going to be my 1-star alignment, as that's what I do. And I already have it right here on the screen, and this one I'm just going to center a little bit for precision, because I like precision and I don't like to be like years ago that I used to be hours trying to find a target. That's not happening anymore. Okay, so Capella is there ready. Now let me just come here to Stellarium, and I'm just going to sync, and it's kind of like on the east right now, and it's called Intergalactic Wanderer. So I guess it's just a star cluster, globular cluster that just wanders around, but it's right here on the east, and there are many other beautiful star clusters around. It's not too much photograph either. This target, I've been looking for it and see how it looks, but because it's so far, it's kind of like fainted, and the stars are not going to be as sharp and rounded as we can get other star clusters that are closer. And this one, it's also very close here to some big stars. So let me just go ahead and send the telescope there to the Intergalactic Wanderer, Intergalactic Tramp, and here comes one of those satellites and things that are always on the way in every picture. So let's just go ahead and change here, current object, and slew. There goes the telescope. And light is back. I just can't keep these lights on all the time, but kind of like we did our beautiful landing. And let's see what we got here in Sharp Cap. I can see it already right here. And these are the 3 stars that I was just talking about. Then it's just that they are in a different position. They are on this side and not on top here, but I can rotate this image whatever I want. So now I am going to just get this target more into the center. Let me just, I believe I need to go to the west. Yep, I got it. And we'll just keep going to center here. As you can see, there it is. You can barely see it, but it's there, and I already have about 2 hours, almost 3 hours on it, on red, green, and blue. Just going to zoom in here a little bit, And here's my target. It looks so good. The stars are not looking so good right now because I'm moving here a lot, but I am right on. Okay, so let me just go ahead and bring it back down. Well, and there goes who knows what. I think it's the aliens. I'm going to be famous. I'm going to photograph an alien. Okay, so I am right on target. This is beautiful, perfect night, beautiful setting. Now it's just a matter of I am going to close here. So all I need to do now is to do all the settings on Nina, and I'll be right back. Beautiful. So now I have my frame assistant, and this is also known as Caldwell 25. I'm going to photograph on 60 seconds each, 1 minute each, and that's how I like to do the star cluster, so I don't overexpose the stars. So I try to, I think the sweet spot for my telescope, it's 60 seconds, 1 minute each. And in this case, I am just going to add this to the sequencer. Actually not going to do any guiding on this one. I can try, but this mount and telescope works really good at 1 minute. Just going to go ahead and add it to the sequencer. And this is NGC 2419. I always like to, on the first filter, the first color, I like to add 5 or 6 more frames, and I'm just going to do 30 minutes each filter at a time. And the time is just going to be 60 seconds for each color. And I'm going to do red, green, and blue as I already did. Let me just go ahead and start with the red. It doesn't matter because I already got the first round of it, so let me just not plan on dithering right now, as 60 seconds work perfectly fine. Okay, so I am hoping to do 2 rounds tonight, which is going to be several hours. This should probably give me a very good image of this faint globular cluster, and I am almost ready to go and watch this from the guest house, as I have everything connected with the router. So now it's time just for a test photo. Time to turn the lights off. Ooh, okay, so now I need to stand still, and I'm just going to do 15-second test photo. I don't need that much. I just need to be sure that everything is good, and there's no reason why not, but you never know. It's a little bit high. It really doesn't matter because I'm going to crop right here. I can just let me see, just to be we're not going to see it as I'm not doing live view right now. So I'll just take another test photo. I kind of like it here, but this is such a faint object, sky object, that it's going to be cropped anyway. So let's do another 15 seconds and see. I think that's good enough, and it will be cropped somewhere here. I would like to get this group of stars here. I would like to preserve these ones here, and they're too close to the edge right now, so that's where all the problems starts happening. I am moving, so all of that will get better. Yes, there you go. Okay, ready to go. Come on, Skywatcher, let's do this beautiful intergalactic wanderer globular cluster. Okay, time to start looking at these images and see what problems I find. You never know until you start stretching these images and giving some light and gradients and scene conditions and all kind of problems. So let's just go ahead and start and pick inside. Okay, so I am going to start after the image calibration and one of my favorite scripts, which is WBPP. So Here I have all of my calibrated frames, and I had to do 2 rounds of calibration frames, including 2 rounds of star alignment and 2 rounds of image integration, as I have some problems in some of the images. And I'm always nervous to see this first image. Oh boy, I'm already seeing some little problems. And obviously what we're seeing right now here, this image, stars are overexposed, as they are ginormous stars that are next to this beautiful star cluster, just to make things a little bit more difficult. But let's just bring it to life and screen transfer function and okay, ta-da! So, well, this is the typical green or blue image. Let's take a quick look here. So that's actually not that bad, but we have some elongated stars. And as I get closer and closer to the star cluster, well, things are not looking as good as other star clusters that are way closer than this. Is once again, this is the problem here too, that this star cluster is next to these big stars, so it makes it a little bit more challenging when I'm going to stretch these images. But I think I'm going to do something a little bit different than the other star clusters. Before I move any forward, I want to crop this image. The luminance comes from the first round of images, which it was on a completely different day than the second one. And just to be safe, I want to register this, do the star alignment on these images. I may just go ahead and use image 20 here as reference. And we're just going to bring the luminance up to clone 1, which is the name that I gave it, and we're just going to register them just to be sure that we are okay. And this one now is labeled as registered. Let's see, and I think that's probably about right. We'll see once I try to combine with the luminance, that in this case is the register one. So, but I want to crop to avoid all of these problems as much as I can. And we're going to see if Graxpert can fix this severe gradient problem. Let me just go ahead and crop. Okay, and we're just going to use the RGB image to show how tiny this star cluster is, because it's so far away. And we're going to crop here the luminance and send it back there. And wait, so this should help a lot. And now I want to see something, because on my first try with this image, Graxpert did not help here to fix this gradient. This is the first time Graxpert doesn't work for me. Okay, so this is not working. I don't know why, but it's not working. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and use the prehistoric dynamic background extraction. And for that, I have one here, which is the one that I was using before. I have some numbers here as a starting point that I got from Atom Block Studios, and this is kind of like what he was recommending when I was doing these tutorials as a starting point. And I just need to be sure that I'm not here on stars or anything. I'm going to change here to the target image correction. Let's not replace the target image. Start with division and see what happens. So let's see what was extracted. Well, that sounds about right, right? Looks about right. And now we're starting to see something, but oh my God, this is pretty bad. Still, that's very ugly. But this is the reality. This is what this is what I got. Okay, so now let me save this icon here. And this is the new dynamic background extraction, which is terrifying that I get something like this. but we're going to give it a try. I may just repeat this process as I'm seeing that I actually touch a bunch of stars, which is not, it's not that it's going to be an unbelievable difference, huge difference, but it may do something. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to save a new icon as process icon 42, and let me go ahead and do this one and see what happens. So this is what it was extracted. Wow. Okay. Let me just park my original RGB image right here with the right placement. And now we're going to change this to subtraction. So there you go. Okay. Very good. So it's still not looking great, huh? We're going to see how we can fix this. I may have to do another round, so let's just go ahead and give it another round and see what happens. Oh boy. Well, but there's my star cluster. It's just that right now it's like all of this gradient. Sometimes I use the automatic background extraction and works pretty good, so we'll just give it a try. Let's see. Let's go back again to the division. It's just using default settings. And it seems like kind of like this is probably the best I can do right now. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, so we still have a problem, right? Let me go and do out of my arsenal here. We have a lot of green, we have a lot of problems. Let's try some color calibration. And for the background reference, let me just go ahead and do here a preview. And the preview doesn't need to be big. The sample can be very small. Let's see. I'm just going to do it like right here and see what happens. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do preview 1. Okay. Now we got a yellow image. Okay. So it's not doing too much more either. Oh boy. Okay. The next thing, it's going to be background neutralization. And this is first RGB. Whoa. I'm not dying for it, but okay, if this is what we got, then that's it. I will have to work on this with stretching and other processes further down, but for some reason I am not able to fix too much of these gradients. Well, it's not that I am super excited about this. I mean, there is my star cluster is right there. Let me just go ahead and plate solve this image as I did the cropping. And once you crop an image, you messed up the plate solve. And that way I can do photometric color calibration. So image solver, let's just go here. This looks right, NGC 2419. And let's just do the plate solve. That way I can use other color calibration, let's say, techniques. Okay, so we are plate solved, so that puts me back into photometric color calibration. And if you're thinking, why is she using photometric color calibration? Well, I do have a problem right now with the catalogs on the star catalogs. Photometric spectral calibration. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this one, which should solve a little bit of the problems, and probably is not going to do too much. Well, it improved a little bit. Photometric color calibration done. Okay, so next tool, it is the best one, and that is Blur Exterminator. And for Blur Exterminator, I do have several formulas here that I know they worked for me before. So I'm going to do this one because I want to show this is going to be a little bit interesting here. Let's just go ahead and do it like that. Let me just do only default settings, and we will compare. So I may have to do a lot of clonings, and we're starting to get very crowded down here. Okay, so we are done. Well, that doesn't look that bad. We are done just with default settings. So in this case, let me just make a clone here. Another one to park here. We'll just keep piling things here. Now I want to change to something different. And I want to put the stars sharpen at 19, which these numbers work for me very good in other objects. In the star halos and -24. And we do have these gigantic stars here. So let's just go ahead and see the before. So this is before the default settings and after. I'm not a fan of those square stars, but let's see. Okay, so let me revert this one. I'll be sure that I have my other one here, the default settings, because I'm going to pick which one looks better. So this is another setting that worked for me good before. So the stars are more rounded a little bit. They still look like pixels, right? Like a square pixel. Let's see the before and after. And I have to work on these stars later at the end. My final touches, probably do it in Photoshop. This one, it's going to be, let's see, second try. So we're going to part second here. Let's try one more time, something else. I am going just to use, here on the sharpened stars, I'm going to use a 12. And on PSF diameter, I am going to use 1.81. And sharpen non-stellar, that's going to be a 15. This is after me doing a lot of testing with other star clusters. Just go for it. Okay, so it's done. Well, this is interesting. This one, I think it's the one that I like so far better than the other ones, as the stars are not those little squares. Looks a little bit more real. Okay, let's see the before. It's very settled, that's why. Okay, so now what I'm going to do in the sharpened stars, I'm just going to go even higher. Let's see, let's do a 60. Okay, so now we see some bigger results before and after. But I just don't like the squares. I don't like it. Okay, let's bring this back. Let's try 50. So it did less to the stars. I don't know about this. I'm not sure, but I am going to save this one as my third attempt. Revert here, and now I want to go just with correct only. Correct only. Well, that's not that bad. It still have some square stars, but this is the before and after. And this is going to be my fourth attempt. And from there, doesn't look that bad is when you zoom in, of course, right? And now I'm going to make a decision here. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, this is just luminance only. Interesting. Before and after. I still have those square stars, and I wish I can go and do some retouch on them. So now I want to compare a little bit with fourth and fifth. It's a tough one. I will say fourth. Okay, so let's just bring fourth for now. This one. has more sharpening, but the fourth did much better the other stars. Second did a interesting job also on the sharpening. So we're going to keep these two here for now. And the default settings, it's about the same. The second did a better job on this type of stars. So I'm going to work with second and fourth. Okay, very good. Okay, so out of these two, just looking at them right here, let me start with second, which seems to be the best right now. We'll look at those settings after I have the chance to see the recording and see exactly what I did. Okay, so the next step I am going to use is CS and R. Let's see if we can remove a little bit for our eyes, the much better, all that green. Okay, so now we can start looking at something a little bit more real. And the next step, it's going to be the noise exterminator. And I'm going to leave it there at 80. And let's see what happens. This image has a lot of noise. Our background is starting to look better. Okay, well. Okay, so there is my star and the stars here. Obviously, you know, extremely bright stars right next to a star cluster. But we have a more realistic image. I'm going to do the same on this one, on 4, is CNR and noise exterminator. Good, so we're going to continue with second and fourth, try. Okay, so as you can see, now I have even more things here on my workspace, and this has been a very, very complicated star cluster. Lots because of all the gradients and things that are not corrected. And now that I'm thinking, I think probably the moon was out on the first 2 nights. I did 2 more nights, and I know for a fact on night number 4 the moon was out, but that may be why I'm having so many problems. Okay, so I want to apply again, and now it's looking better because I have more data, and that's what it is. I did another night. The problem is that the the moon is out, but this is looking way much better. And what I want to change now is to see if I can get a little bit better blur exterminator, if I can improve a little bit what I have here, and that may be on the sharpened stars is going to be settle again, kind of like do this twice. So let's see what happens with sharpened stars at 18. The halos, I may have to work with those in Photoshop, as I have a program that can do that. So let's see the before and after, and I think we can probably do a little more. And I also want to try to be a little bit more specific on the PSF, create one, and for that I'm going here into render, and I'm going to check on the PSF image. Normally it's around 1.80, something like that, but this image is all about the stars, so I want to see if I can get those stars a little bit better. Okay, so 153 and 1.43. So I think if I do probably, let's say 150, kind of like be right there in the middle. So let me just change this to 150. Let me go ahead and do the stars are 19 and the star halos at minus 24. Okay, well, I still have kind of like the squared images, but all of the other stars look better. Let's see. So that's the halo. I can try the halo, star halo again, and maybe the sharpened stars will go the other way. Let's see at 30. I think the manual PSF probably is working better, and just to be a little bit more precise. Well, it looks better. So that's the before. Let me look on the star, big stars, and after. Before and after. And what I am looking for, you see the right now the square stars remain square, so maybe that's just the way it is. The situation with the stars, it's kind of like different for everybody. We all have different cameras and all kind of different optics and things. So this target in particular has so much gradient, which is the main problem that I have. You see right now that looks much better from there, and we are, I don't know, maybe like 200% and zoom in. So that's the before and after. And I am at least seeing much better these other stars. So I am going to leave this one right now with these settings here, which is going to be sharpen stars at 29, minus 49 at adjust star halos, and the automatic PSF is at 150. And just out of curiosity, let me just try one more thing here with luminance only. I haven't heard too many good things about the luminance only. So it's not bad. I mean, it just a little bit less brightness here. I think our stars are still the same, and it kind of like work a little better here on those other stars, kind of like this medium size. So I'm okay with that. Very good. The next step, it's going to be a noise exterminator. And I already tried all the color calibration and background neutralization, and none of that is doing anything here. I also did the photometric color calibration. It didn't change too much. It has linear fit. It has all kind of things. So I think the next step it's going to be the noise exterminator. Okay, so I would like to have a little bit more sharpening here, but it seems like that's probably the way it's going to be for now. Okay, very good. So let's just close the noise exterminator. And now I am going to do, the difference is going to be that I am going to use the star exterminator, and I am going to stretch these images, this image separately. So it's the typical generate star image on screen star. So now I have, let me just change the identifier for stars, and the background it's going to be starless. Okay, so now what I want to do is go ahead and stretch these images. We'll have a lot here. Okay, so let me start with this background, which is really has been the main problem. It's this background. Actually, I can just use the history transformation. There's nothing, not too much here on this image. And maybe, instead of having all those problems that are right there, maybe just go a little less, a little less problems. And now I'm going to do some cloning here. And just get rid of that. Those few things, those are for stars. And we're just going to get this background more neutral. And for the stars, I will use, how about if I use the arcing stretch first? And we're going to use the stretch factor a little bit less, just to have those stars a little bit just like that. Very, very little. Just a little bit of stretch. We're not going to see too much right now. And now let me use the generalized hyperbolic stretch. And now let's just kind of like do the typical in the middle curve of the histogram. Let's do this very low, like a 3.8. Start bringing little by little stretch. And I'm going to keep doing a little bit more of the background. I don't like to have the sky completely black. I never like it. Stars look very strange now. Maybe it's the arcing stretch. I think it's looking better. And it's because I increased the local intensity. One of the very few things that I have done differently on this round. But I don't want to go extremely bright because I can add brightness using a mask. But now I'm seeing much better the core of right here, the star cluster, which is kind of like a nebulosity thing right there. So this is looking better, much better. Let me just go here to Toolbox and let me just go into Combine Images. Okay, let me try this again now, right here, and I want to see this default setting on screen. Yeah, okay, so it is better. Galaxy's there. I saw another little galaxy somewhere here. Okay, so the amount. Okay, so let's see. The image 2, it's the background. So let me just go this other way to the left and see what it does. I will think it gets darker. There you go. I don't want it completely black, but it's not completely black. And just out of curiosity, let me add a little bit here on the amount image 1. That's not bad. I mean, the stars are getting bright, but let me just bring this back again. So this is my new image. And I have to work individually on the stars to do some sharpening. But so now I have my image again. And now I can work with saturation and colors and see what happens. I need to forget about the stars because I can fix that easier for me in Photoshop. So let me zoom in here as much as I don't like it, but I need to. Let me go ahead and get a mask. Just going to add an elliptical mask here, just to work on the star cluster. This is the area that really matters right now. And because this is just to work on luminosity and saturation, I'm not going to blur that mask. Okay, let me just show mask and bring it. Color saturation, let's see. It's starting to give me some of the blues and the colors that I am looking for. Okay, so I'm going to apply that here just to increase the colors. Saturation. Okay, very good. And Let me go into the star mask. I may have this probably more like a 3. I want to see first what it does. If it really gets all those changes the colors. Aha! Yes, that's what I was missing. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. So I was missing a star mask, so I can control these colors much better. And now what I am going to do, I'm going to remove this mask. Show mask. Let me remove this mask. And I am going to do a cloning stamp. Okay, so this is it. Okay, I had to have a good night's sleep and just take this all out of my system, as it has been bothering me for at least 3 days as part of astrophotography. But finally, I got an image here that, considering that it's 300,000 light years away, it's looking pretty. And I'm just going to do some final touches here. And let's see, I want to try a little bit of sharpening. And for that, let me do another preview. And the part that I am mostly interested now, it's of course the star cluster itself. And the stars will never be completely rounded here unless I really edit this, or I have the Hubble Space Telescope here in my backyard. How about the James Webb? Okay, so let me try a little bit of on sharp mask. We're going to zoom in here and let's see. So right now the amount is as 0.8. If I go, let's say, half of that, I always like to see how is that going to change. And if I go all the way here, like to 0.9, then it's definitely too much, as you can see there. And I am thinking that it probably going to be somewhere here. Let's just do 0.25. I don't like to go too crazy on sharpening, but that probably looks better. And it's going to sharpen all the other stars too. And I don't know how to turn off those preview bars here. It's something that I need to find it. Okay, so now let me just go ahead and apply this to the whole image. Yeah, I saw some nice stuff here. I think that's probably the best I can do here. Regarding the big stars, I'm going to do this in Photoshop, as I am ready to take this image to Photoshop. I don't think I can get more colors of the stars, the blue ones. I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, so I just did some clone stamp here on this mask. So I don't want all of the stars to be changing colors. Let me get here, show mask. And this is kind of like what I want to see now. I'm just going to do a preview so I can see the colors that I want, because I think now this may be the solution. Okay, so now let me go back to curves. And let's start with the red. Yeah, okay, yes, 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 yes. Now finally I can start seeing some colors on it. Oh, that's much better. Okay. Let me just go ahead here and change to a different color. Let's see, blues. I know there's a lot of blues here. This one, it's getting more around, not exactly what I wanted. And now let's just go into the saturation. Let's see, so that gets them very, very red. As here from the distance looks good. Let's see. Yeah, that's probably better because we need to see that. We need to see the red color. Okay, so bringing this image here into Photoshop, which is where normally I see, oh my God, all kind of problems. It still looks a little bit green tones to me, but that's how I saw several of the other images, as I haven't found that many edited. Okay, back here to my stars, and this is where problems start to happen, and this is at 200%. Yeah. Okay, so let me, now that I hate to see this like this, but let me just go ahead and try to make some adjustment here. And the truth is that even though that I don't like to do clipping or anything, but it's really not causing that many problems, so I think I can live with this. Okay. This is not that simple. Okay, back to my big stars here, and I am going to use another software here, and I don't want to create the star spikes, but I do want to use something else here. Go ahead and do the default settings here, and I will start changing this. I'm going to keep reducing here, and I will get to the spikes. Regarding the angle, I need to change the angle a little bit. Let's see, that's the primary. Okay, so that's those big stars, which should be like that. Bring those angles, those spikes less, but at least it's giving some definition to what I already have. The secondary, let's see if I can see. Oh, that's that one. Look at that. Whoa, cool. Okay, so we want to have some, because those are big stars, and obviously they're there, so I just need to see. This is that part. So if I reduce that completely, which I prefer, and this is a matter of personal taste, and it can be in so many ways. Fall off. Okay, let's go back to the ring flare, and I am going to decrease the small stars, as you see right now. See, oh, this is so beautiful. But I am going to reduce that, and I'm just going to do it very, very little, because this is the star right here. This is the star of the star clusters, the stars of the stars image. It's that. Let me reduce the intensity here, and that is a little bit better than what I have. And now I'm just going to do some retouch on some of these stars. Let's see if I can do some adjustments here. Okay, just make an adjustment layer here. And if I bring it too much, then it doesn't, then you see the background, but at least it's affecting the background curves. That's probably the best I can do there. So I think that's probably about what I can do here with this image. And now the most important part of this is just to go ahead and get my name. And always be very proud of your work, of your editing and everything, as we are constantly learning. But probably maybe in 2 weeks, I say, oh, I should have done something different, or I learned this new technique. But the good thing is that if you always keep everything very well labeled and documented and in good files, you can always come back and re-edit, as I probably am going to do with this image. But for now, here it is, my beautiful star cluster from 300 light years away. Woo! Okay, final conclusion. What can I say? This was difficult. This was very difficult. I never had this situation before, and as I mentioned a million times during the video, I think I got that's exactly what I got, and I can modify and adjust a little bit here and there, but I don't want to change completely what I got. I don't like to oversaturate with colors and things that look like obviously has been done in Photoshop. So I like to leave my images as natural as possible with the with subtle enhancements and color saturation during those days. So if you have something to tell me, just go ahead and tell me. What do you think? You think, I mean, if there's anything else I could have done, I would like to know, as I watch all of your tutorials and I love your ideas. So for now, enjoy the beautiful NGC 2419, which is the Intergalactic Globular Cluster. Hit it with some beautiful music.